Welcome back to HTP Podcast, where we go beyond just strokes and strategy. Our mission here is to change the culture of tennis, having one conversation at a time through a more positive and holistic approach. And if you guys can do me a big favor and hit that subscribe, like, and share button, that would be amazing. And today we have Kendra on the pod. And really cool, Kendra, you were in one of our junior programs here in Scottsdale for a little bit. What was it, 2 years? Something like that?
Well,
2 years?
maybe longer. I
Okay.
felt longer because I know we
Okay.
started at, the community college and then moved.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
there for the 3 moves for a
Yeah.
while.
A while. So yeah, then probably like 3 years. And I had so much fun working with you. You were such a hard worker. And I love your story because I know tennis didn't come easy to you. And you always kind of probably felt like you started late in tennis and had to make up a lot of ground, which is always a hard feeling to fight through when it comes to tennis, when people, start when they're 5 and you feel like you're competing against these people who have so much more tennis than you. But what I love about your story is that never stopped you and you kept working away and, you ended up playing at Arizona Christian. And anyways, I want you to share your story, how you got started in tennis and some of the obstacles and opportunities that you had.
Well, thank you for having me. And I would say it was 8th grade when it all changed because I think it was 7th grade. I was doing track and gymnastics and I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
And I decided I'm going to do tennis. And I remember being at Scottsdale Community College and kind of what you're saying. It was so intimidating because all of those kids either started at 3, they wanted to go, D1 or pro. And so I think one of the challenges was just being around that type of talent. And even just the coaches, they were amazing, but I feel like they were pretty used to being with people who had that foundation already set. And I came in and I knew I was athletic, but I feel like tennis is just a whole other level of it's just difficult. It's not something you can pick up and within 2 days or even a year, like you can get.
Yeah.
That was definitely a struggle, but at the same time, in my eyes, it was really a blessing being around some amazing athletes and coaches because I know my expectation of myself was probably too high in the beginning,
Yeah.
but I really believe like being around those people is what pushed me to honestly get a tennis scholarship. Like that was my goal in 8th grade. I remember telling you and all other coaches, like, that's what I want to do. And I remember making that decision of, okay, I'm going to do online school freshman year of high school. And you were out there with me when it was 2 p.m., 110 degrees out, like trying to serve.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for you and just all those coaches because I would not have gone as far as I did, truly.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you definitely put in the time and hours. I remember when you made that choice to go online. I mean, you really devoted your life to putting in the time and hours and fully committed, which in some ways I think is almost better than some people who have just natural talent and they don't work as hard and they can get away with a little bit more compared to someone like who doesn't have that freedom and they just have to really put in grit, which honestly helps you so much more in life in the long run.
I would agree because even now, talking to my parents about it, it's not just a sport. It really taught me many life skills with how to deal with people, how to understand defeat. In the beginning, I lost a bunch because it
Yeah.
was such a, learning curve, but it also helps me in my life now because starting my master's, I'm in a room in a cohort with people that I've been teaching for 25 years and this is my first year because
Yeah.
my goal is to be a principal. And so even being in that environment can be intimidating, but I remind myself like, hey, I was around people who went to D1 colleges and I hit with them. So it pushes me every day to just work hard.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my coaches, I'll never forget, he sat me down and he just said, don't ever stop being you. And I hold on to that every day.
I love that. I would love to hear more as much as you want to share, because that's never easy when it comes to losing, right? And in the beginning, we typically lose a lot. And tennis isn't very forgiving in that way either. Being in a small section, too, you play a lot against the same people and you practice a lot with the same people and over. What really helped you continue to push through those moments where you just felt like you were losing or you just felt defeated in those moments?
That's a really good question. I will admit it was definitely hard. I think the hardest thing was I'd go and play a tournament over the weekend and then I'd come see my coaches on a Monday or other people and they're like, oh, how are you doing? And hearing everyone else say, oh, I got to the finals or I won this. And it's like, oh, I lost back to back.
Mm,
That was probably the hardest because, again, comparison.
yeah.
And what kept me going though is I think my parents instilled it into me early on. Like, you're either all in or all out. And
Mm.
I just kept reminding myself, I will continue doing this until I absolutely can't. I'm not the type where I can just walk away and be okay with that.
Yeah. I love that. And I think having parents supporting you along that, I think that's a huge part too. Having the right support goes a long way because I can tell you coaching a lot of different players from, beginners to top athletes in the nation, it makes a world of a difference when a player has the right family support compared to when they don't. And it really can make a break or kid of wanting to continue to play tennis because it's so easy to get burnt out in this sport. Yeah, so that's amazing that your parents instilled that in you at such a young age. What do you feel like were some of the like bigger opportunities that you had with tennis?
I would say even the ability to play number one at a high school after I decided, I did 4 year or 3 years of online, then I went back. That was
Mhm.
a great opportunity just to kind of socialize and take a step back, have a little bit of fun with it, which really helped me in like the USTA tournaments. It helped me win more because
Yeah.
I remember my junior year, it all kind of started clicking and my confidence was going up. I would say opportunity wise, even just putting myself in leadership roles because I'm not afraid of failure and I'm not afraid of putting myself out there now. And
Yeah.
so, like, I'm helping running student council, like doing my master's right now. So I think it really gave me confidence, even though it was definitely a struggle in the beginning. Even like with my coaching now in high school, like I really do look at it as a blessing that I had a hard time in the beginning because I
Mhm.
see these girls that have some of them have really good potential and I can relate to them. And
Mhm.
I think that's honestly a gift because I love helping them coaching them out of that and seeing their success.
So cool. I love that you're coaching now. Can you share a little bit more about like what you're currently doing with tennis, and then obviously you're getting your masters and all of that?
So I'm just coaching at Red Mountain High School girls varsity. It's me, one other coach. I think we're also going to be doing the boys as well. That will be fun. And then I hit every now and then, but my goal come January, I really want to join a league. That's my goal for 2026 because I think taking some time off and just having like a big girl job, I guess, because this is my first ever real job. It's definitely a lot emotionally and mentally, but I laugh because sometimes tennis would be so stressful for me
Mhm.
and then now that I'm in this, I'm working, I look at it kind of like an outlet. And it's honestly kind of beautiful because it's calming now. And
Yeah.
I love that. So I definitely want to keep hitting and it will always be a part of my life.
That's awesome. One other thing I wanted to ask you was what was your experience like in college? Because everyone, some people have a phenomenal experience in college, some people have a horrible time in college. What was it like for you?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
There are some really good highs of like at MCC when we had our championship. I got really far in that actually. And that was probably a highlight. And it was during that COVID time too. So everybody, we weren't sure what we were doing, but that was a high. I think tennis is an interesting sport because it's individual when you grow up and you're young, but then you're thrown into a team. And it's like, how do you navigate with a group of girls where we're so into ourselves almost because
Mhm.
that's how the sport is
Yeah.
and how do you actually create a culture where we work together? So there
Mm.
was a little bit of a challenge here and there,
Yeah.
but again, I think it really taught me a lot. And now I kind of know what to do, when I have my kid and hopefully they want to play tennis and, the high school teams.
That's so true. I think, especially when it comes to girls, guys, I think obviously it can be hard for sure, but I think that's a really good point of we are playing like an individual sport and then now trying to create a team culture can be really hard on certain teams, depending on the different personalities, the coach that you have and creating that environment. Some coaches are really good at doing that and other coaches aren't. to some degree, they will like cause even more chaos on the team and like push more of that to create like more competition against one another, which is like really sad to see at times. I can definitely relate to that too, for
I think
sure.
everyone's been,
Yeah.
especially girls, like at least
Yeah.
a little bit, they can relate for
Growing up with brothers, like of course, I had girlfriends growing up, but I was always around guys so much more. And so when I went to college, like it was really the first time I was around a group of girls 24/7. I was like, my gosh, all the little drama that would go on, I was not used to because obviously, you have that stuff happen at school, but then you leave school and you move on from it. You're not like constantly in it all the time. So that was like honestly really hard for me to navigate because growing up with brothers, they're like, why do you even care?
when I grew up with boy cousins, because all my other girl cousins were older, so I did grow up with 2,
Yeah,
and we were the 3 musketeers, so, like, I was used to that. I went to a daycare with all boys. I can definitely relate to that. The
yeah,
one nice thing I will say, like, about this college I went to, at the time, I wasn't sure what it was gonna be like, but having kind of a faith-based helped, I think, our team stay closer
yeah,
than most, but like a family, right? You always have something.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for coming on today, Kendra. I really appreciate it. And if you guys like these tennis tales, please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.